This is the last episode of the Electroculture Gardening. This is episode 8, and it's now been 2 months since I've started this, so let's go. When it comes to the research garden plot here, I've already bought some stakes, some antennas from Amazon. It cost me around, I think, $12, maybe 18. It was like maybe 12 to 18 bucks for about 10 rods. And when I placed them in the ground, I placed them in random spots throughout. And as I've shown in the previous videos, some things have been affected, some things have not. For example, the onions that are behind me, yeah, they're hidden back in that direction, but the onions over there, those didn't seem to be too affected by the stakes being in the ground, the copper rods, or any of the conductivity that's supposed to happen between the plant's roots and the atmosphere around it. So like I said, it affects some plants and others it doesn't. Onions being one of them that it doesn't really bother too much. Strawberries, I've noticed it didn't really bother too much. But as far as the corn and the tomatoes have gone, as I've shown you, I can show you again actually. This is the corn that I grew. I believe this is a sweet corn variety. Now, when I placed the electroculture rod inside the ground, I actually placed it on the west end of the garden. As you can tell, it's about to be sunset here, or it is sunset nevertheless, evening time around here. And I placed it on the west end of the garden instead of the east end. I just wanted to see how I wanted to see truly if this was going to outgrow that end, simply because I grew this batch from where my finger is on over. I grew that batch after I grew the first batch, which was roughly that group over there, and I wanted to see if that was going to outperform the first batch I did, and it actually has been, as far as height is concerned. As far as fruit and the corn itself, I've not gotten to that point where I've harvested any of the corn off of the stalks yet. The corn looks extremely well. This is from the west end. As I zoom right back in, you can see the corn is starting to develop, and it's really cool. I might wait till these are actually ready to harvest to see the final height of them all. But from what I can tell you right now, these stalks right here on this end, I stand taller than that, and I'm like 5'6", maybe 5'7". I doubt I'm 5'7" though. This corn over here, this corn is standing taller than I am, and roughly about 2 feet over my height. No, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 feet over my height, which is pretty dang on cool. It's on the east end of the garden actually. This is where I started growing the tomatoes. All of it was pretty much just 2 different rows of tomato plants. I didn't thin them out like I thought I was going to be doing. I just kind of left it to see how it would go according to the electroculture. Now, I did place a stake on the west end of this as well. It is, where is it at? Every time I go to look for it, it's really close by, and I hate the fact I don't notice where it's at off the go. Oh, there it is. See, it's right there. Yep. So I placed only one in this bed to see how it was going to perform. Now, in earlier videos, I noticed that the height difference between all of it was just like the corn. It literally mimicked the corn. It started off tall over here, and it declined down over to here. But also the thing I noticed is that the west end of the garden started fruiting first, and as you can see, some of them in the middle starting to fruit really well, and the other end, the east end, started fruiting a little later. As you can see, there's still a lot more flowers on it, so more fruit to come. Now, these are the results and the observations I've made concerning this garden with 9 stakes in the ground in random areas. I did not do a whole bunch of research before diving into this whole thing. I just seen some videos on it, decided to try it out. It was low cost. It didn't really cost me much at all. Like I said, about 20 bucks at the most. Electroculture series, this is now the 8th week. 2 months into it, I'm only gonna be probably uploading maybe one more, just as the final results of what I got and the official heights. I want to do official heights of all the plants. Not all the plants, but roughly from like the end to end of, say, the corn on the west end. What was the tallest, what was the shortest, what was the median height of all of it, which side of it fruited first to maturity. Same with the tomatoes as well. I'm gonna keep on watching on the strawberries in case there's gonna be any differences there. I haven't noticed any yet. When it comes to the onions, I'm kind of just gonna rule them out because it's just too similar to even notice anything about them. But that is it. I will continue with uploading more videos to YouTube, obviously, because YouTube has been my first passion. I wanted to do just mainly garden content and just whatever comes to my mind as a place to brain dump. I'm trying my best not to keep on looking at the screen here because it is a camcorder.